Welcome to PlayStation Unchained, where I am, as ever, really, really professional. Yeah, we are PSU.com's premier podcast, and we discuss things related to Sony's gaming brand and sometimes beyond, always beyond, let's be fair. I am your host, Neil Bolt, as ever, and I am joined, as ever, by resident streamer, podcaster extraordinaire, and Final Fantasy XIV fanatic. Oh, and he knows how to find a glitch in pretty much any game he plays. It is Ben Shillabeer-Hall. How you doing, Ben?
Yeah, like the game I've been reviewing that I can't talk about really, but I'm going to talk about because I just won't mention the name of it. There was one boss fight where it felt like I couldn't work out what to do, so I ended up just glitching him and won. Because that was the only way I could think of actually beating him. I don't know if it was how you were supposed to fight him, but it felt like that was the wrong way to fight him. Basically, it was like a weird blob thing, and you had to attack the top of it. So what I did was I glitched onto the side of it to jump onto a platform, to glitch onto the side of a cliff, to bounce off the side of a cliff with clipping on the way back up, and then attacked it.
Huh.
I don't think that was the way I was supposed to go, but it worked.
It's a little specific.
It's specific because I had to do it 3 times.
He'll kill your games for you. That's Ben's promise, it seems.
I will break it. I will break you.
You are the Drago of video games.
Pay him to test your games. He'll figure everything out wrong.
Yeah, so you don't need to pay an entire QA team. You have one-man QA team. It's Ben.
It's like, there's a ladder there. Oh yeah, okay. But I just climbed up that wall.
Final Fantasy XIV subscription.
Yes.
And Mountain Dew.
I haven't touched Mountain Dew. I had enough while I was in Vegas. I literally pretty much sort of swam in it. I bought it every...
They have...
What's that?
They have Mountain Dew pools in Vegas?
No, I mean, I bought so much I might as well have been drinking it. Yeah, swimming in it.
I suppose if you go to the right convention.
I mean, Vegas, I guess anything's possible.
Oh, yeah.
It's not very conventional, is it? Awful.
Awful.
Anyway,
yeah. The other guy that you hear on this very podcast is, of course, the man that is known only as Mr. Hashtag. Is Timothy of Nunes.
Is that like a car trying to drive past but then stalls at the end?
Yeah.
Or Tim Top Gear.
Yeah. Timmy Top Gear. That's it.
Timmy Top.
Top Tim.
How go you, Mr. Tim?
I go in certain directions. Most of them I don't have a discernible knowledge of, but yeah, I go there.
You go there. That's deep, man. That's really deep.
Been there, done that.
Deepest law.
Not joining us this week, the man who wrote the idea for this week's episode, Gary Bagdasarov. He is sick, having attended some sort of press event. And yeah, he's come back sick. And Alfonso, who sadly has a job.
Oh no.
I mean, best of luck to you, Alfonso. Ketchup Factory, lucky to have you.
That's funny. None of us have jobs.
Why is Tim breaking up so much now?
It's the hilarity. You can't handle it.
We've broken him.
Yay.
Yeah, no, obviously we have jobs. I have this job, but this is the part I don't get paid for, so it's what you get.
We can make the podcast good enough, maybe we could get paid for it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that would require...
Editing.
Yes, that's the word I was looking for. If we did that, you wouldn't have the pause between it. Right, yes, so those two aren't here, Alfonso has, of course, got his job at the ketchup factory. That's of last week.
The ketchup
So- I think we inspired him.
the ketchup and Dragon Ball factory.
Ketchup Dragon Ball factory. Dear.
Where all your wishes come true as long as they're based on ketchup.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I'd say.
I went through
Oh,
a time
yeah.
where it was insane.
Crazy days, crazy nights.
Womp.
Womp womp. So what are we talking about this week then? Franchise killing sequels would be the subject matter. As we know, sequels to successful games are nearly always the most hyped properties in gaming, so much so that when one goes wrong, it can tank an entire franchise. I mean, sometimes that happens instantly. Other times, one bad game slowly sinks a series over time. And sometimes you've got so much money, you can just carry on straight through the shit one and come out the other side. See Assassin's Creed, for instance.
Assassin's Creed's a weird one, though.
Yeah, it's like it started shit, got better, got shit, got better. Then
It's
yeah.
like the shit sandwich of sequels. It had the two shitty parts, but then in the middle is some delicious filling.
You put shit in my sandwich, mate. I'm still not eating. It's like, I don't care how much fucking Nutella you put in with it, it's still shit.
I don't think Nutella would go well with shit. It would blend in too well. Maybe some mayonnaise.
I mean, there is the whole smell thing. You could determine that maybe it's not exactly right.
I don't really have a sense of smell, so I'll be fine.
Oh, what? No wonder you eat shit you do. Ah, dear. Now, of course, this is based almost entirely on personal opinion, so there's a good chance some of it is going to sound like utter madness and bias, because of course it would. That's how it works.
Yes, because Dead Rising sucks. I mean, oh no!
Oh. Hey, you mentioned it, actually. I would not mind kicking off with that one. Dead Rising 4 is a franchise killer, without a shadow of a doubt.
Dead Rising 3 was like the stabby part, and then Dead Rising 4 just slammed it right in.
It's like it in a horror movie. Like Dead Rising 3 is like the bit where the series is tripped over the concrete slab that was slightly out while being chased by the killer, and it sort of stumbled its way to its feet, only to just like for part 4 to come, and it just falls off a bridge and breaks its neck instead.
I'll tell you a weird, funny story about my life that I did once.
Your life that you did once. It was a past life, maybe? I don't know.
Just leave anything. Just saying.
I remember chasing after a car for some reason to slip over to my own feet and smacking my head against the road because of the curb.
You were chasing after a car.
Yeah.
You didn't have like a dog face, did you?
No.
Ben's previous life as a Cocker Spaniel.
You said Daniel.
It's like I didn't have any more memories after that. It's just like, it went blank.
A cockapoo. That's a real thing, by the way.
Yes, it is, because people love to breed dogs in weird and horrible ways.
Obviously, these folk just wanted to have the weirdest sounding name dog ever.
Anyway,
They couldn't really call it Poo Cock, so.
That took me. Oh wow!
I was just stunned to silence. But
I feel like now someone has to do this.
yes,
Anyway, carry on.
yes, PlayStation Unchained, PlayStation podcast.
Video games.
We managed to turn the subject of Dead Rising 4 into a horror movie and a dream about being a dog in the space of, 2 minutes? I think it was. It's pretty impressive.
Dog breeding.
Sorry?
and peculiar dog breeding.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's something for everyone.
That was at least related to the dog dream, I suppose. But just like the old days. Just like the old days already. Yeah, so anyway, Dead Rising 4 is, the depth of that series, just in the sense of it brings back the main character from the first game. And it goes from being what it was, which was this weird, goofy, oddball of a game, to just being like every other game, and zombies are played out, and the main character is just a shit version of himself, and none of it's fun anymore. It's all this a very Western idea of what made the franchise good, whereas of course, the first one was a Japanese game, and it felt like a Japanese game in so many ways, just because it was just ridiculously daft. It was that very Japanese take on what they think America is like, which is always fun and usually produces some great stuff. But yeah, when actual Americans do that, it doesn't work the same way, because it's very much Americans doing a parody of America that doesn't quite sit right because they can't understand the angle of it. So yeah, it just ends up being like Deadpool, but not any good. Yeah.
The problem is the fact that they've pretty much become a parody of themselves.
Yeah.
And they're not even a good parody. I'm going to bring another game in that's pretty much dead now, I think. Saints Row 4.
Oh man, but at least that was still funny to that point.
It is funny, but at the same time, it went a bit more silly than a lot of people wanted it to.
If you want to say what killed Saints Row franchise, it's called Agents of Mayhem, because that
died.
That spin-off killed Saints Row dead more than anything.
It didn't even kill it. It died before it could be killed.
And it's such a strange game, because it wasn't awful, but it just wasn't anything. It was just dry as fuck. It was the driest toast of a video game.
It didn't even have co-op, I heard.
Yeah, it wasn't even fun. There's no puerile humor. It was like it tried to be this like 80s kids TV cartoon in video game form with a bit of swearing. It's like,
how do you make Saints Row and not make it fun? That's like making GTA and adding content to it.
But they.
Tim, what about you? Is there any game in particular that strikes you straight away when you think of the words franchise killer?
Before we go into that, I'd like to ask me about Dead Space, or excuse me, that gave me away for a second. But talking about, wow, I'm totally caught on Dead Space now. We were talking about Dead Rising. Okay, so Dead Rising 3 was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was.
But they made 4. So, is there any room in this one for the argument that 3 did it?
Like I said, 3 was like the imminent doom. 4 was like, we're escaping this imminent doom somehow, but now we're going to die a different way.
Or as I was like to say, 3 is the stake, and 4 is them just going, yeah, take it now.
I deserve this.
Yeah, so yeah, you could argue 3. You could argue 2 killed the franchise too, to be honest, because that was like not as goofy, not as fun, and very much that Capcom at the time of, oh my god, America's big, we better make all our games more American, and it showed America. So sorry, so far this is an attack on America. That's it. But,
British people have too many hooligans. There we go, we balanced it.
Yeah. Arsenal was shit today. Yeah, that's
there we
my...
go, with balance now.
Oh, good, guys. You guys are riding cliches.
Yeah.
What, you saying I'm cliche? Now let me go and make my crumpets and drink tea.
Okay, now we're fine.
Pip, toodaloo, and all that.
Yes?
Yes.
Cheerios.
Cheerio?
Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely throw out there as my option as Dead Space 3. Because Dead Space 2 was okay, right? Like, it kind of had the heart of 1 without the soul.
Yeah, it was aliens of that franchise. It was like, it's the same style to a degree, but it takes a different bent, you know. It wraps up more action, but does have a bit of the creepy bits from the first game still. Yeah, 3 was like
the poop sandwich parts of the other games that were, completely overshadowed by awesome parts, and then just focused on them and then added co-op or something. But it was awful. Even when playing with other people, it was bad.
Really, I enjoyed Dead Space 3's co-op. It was probably one of the best horror games I'd played, really.
But I think it's less of a horror game.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it lost a lot of that. I think the
elevator shit me up so much.
Did what to you?
The elevator shit me up so much.
Shit him up. Right.
It's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna hang on. Write that down. Hang on.
I forget there's just words that don't get said.
Something.
When my mate was sat there going, we were talking, and then I could see like a weird, scary baby face, and then candles started appearing for some reason, and there was like music playing, and he couldn't hear any of that. It was just on the screen.
Yeah. There were some parts where you could only see it because you were the main character, and then
the other character couldn't see it. Yeah, that's it. So,
there were cool elements like that. I remember that. There was one part where we were walking through a some sort of just random shit place. I can't remember, but when we were going through it, it just looked like a broken, dilapidated sciencey room. I can't really even think of it. A lab. My God, I'm bad today. But
okay.
A sciencey room. All right. But yeah, we're going through the lab, and for me, it just looks just like this dilapidated lab.
Yeah.
He's like, "Holy shit, are you seeing this?" I'm like, "What?" There are a bunch of toys and shit here, like life-size toys.
Oh yeah, I remember that was like a birthday room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was peculiar. So he sent me a bunch of pictures, and I'm like, "Dude, the game's crazy."
Yeah, but I think the difference here with Dead Space 3 to Dead Rising 4 is that, here the developer is still the same developer, whereas Dead Rising, it changed developers to a Western developer, and that was the reason that started going weird. Here, the developer's the same. It's the publisher pushing certain things into the game that don't need to be there. That
microtransactions.
Yeah, and it ruined the pacing and the way the game should be. The co-op, I think Visceral probably would have done anyway. I just think that it was made worse for the way they went with it. And I think they were asked to do more action things than they wanted to do. And as a result, that's what you get, I think. It's a game that a few years later, under a different publisher, probably would have been like heralded as like smart, really well done idea. But yeah.
It's unlucky.
This is it. It's not a bad game in the same way that Dead Rising 4 and even 3 are. It's just decisions were made that ended that series. Any other company, that series probably still be going. It's just that EA were like, nah, it's not making us money. Too single playery, doesn't do anything. In it goes in the bin. Everything shall be judged by the FIFA Madden. And
the FIFA Madden.
Madden, the all-knowing entity that is in front of all of EA.
FIFA Space.
FIFA Space. Yeah.
I would pay money for that.
I mean, my pick now, I would say, is probably going to be a bit cheeky to say, considering the game has had 3 games since, but Devil May Cry 2 is, to me, a franchise killer, because the franchise never recovered from that. It's like the first game was just like, okay.
In a word.
The first game was really good.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, back to that whole goofy idea of what Japanese teams seem to think of America and how American action movies worked. It's why it made Kojima so cool and his games worked so well. And here it's just like over the top cheesy action hero with terrible, terrible lines, but they were so terrible they were wonderful. And then second game came in, and it's like, yeah, we're going to be a bit edgier. We're going to be less of a cheesy fucker. It's like, and it didn't work, and the team was different, and that just dulled the edge, that it had. And I know a lot of people going about 3 being really good, but nah, it's not the same game anymore. And 4 is wank, to be fair. And it took a reboot for it to be good again. And guess what? That kind of killed the franchise again, even though it was good. So can't win. So so far all the games we picked begin with D. We're not even using like an alphabetical list.
Okay, I've got one.
Go on.
Tony Hawk's.
5.
Most of them after 3.
I think Tony Hawk's 5 was the actual nail in the coffin, as it's just terrible. A game, of course, this week that is on sale despite not being fully functional.
Yeah, because the online service is
that's
offline.
right.
Yeah, how it's still on sale, I don't know. Well, I do know, in the same way that anything.
We like the money.
That one.
It's Activision, and yeah, they don't care because it's not one of their big things anymore. Ugh, yes, terrible.
They wouldn't care anyway.
They wouldn't care anyway. Well, yeah, you only have to look at the stuff they put out when they know their license agreement's ending, like they do with the Marvel stuff. They just like, we better put
Deadpool,
things
where
up.
they're like, we want a game out, but please make it lower than 7.
Yeah, just make a shit. That was pretty much their remit for all licensed games after a certain point. They're like, yeah, okay, so we lucked out and accidentally made one good Spider-Man game, so let's make sure all the rest are shit now. By cutting the budget and giving you much less time to work on them.
You have 2 days.
You have 2 days.
Also, the budget is 50 cents.
Yeah. Oh, by
at
the way,
Snickers bar.
we spent most of your budget on getting Neil Patrick Harris to voice Spider-Man. Yeah, you're done.
If you can't make more money than Madden, then it's a failure.
If you don't top Call of Duty, then you're not going to get a budget for the next game.
There's that weird phase with Neil Patrick Harris, just at the beginning of his How I Met Your Mother run, where he was just seen to be in a bunch of games that weren't very good. It's just like,
I thought you were taking the piss. I didn't even know that.
No, he was actually in it. Yeah, it's like he was in that jokey Matt Hazard game as well, where it's.
Oh yeah, I remember the weird.
Taking the piss out of other games by being shit.
I remember that weird point in history where we had so many weird sports games like that. Remember Triple X Biking or whatever it was called?
Oh, yeah. BMX XX.
That was it, yeah.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, that's the response everyone, even when it came out, had.
I'll
that
tell you,
one.
It was so lucrative that the people who made it don't exist anymore. So it's a claim of
my
public.
various gods.
Oh dear. But yeah, that was a sequel to an already shit franchise because it was Dave Mirra or something. Dave Mirra's freestyle.
Yeah, I remember Dave Mirra's bicycle game.
Yeah, Dave Mirra's bicycle game. Dave Mirra's jolly jaunt through the countryside. Dear. Nutley joined us again. Dear. Yeah. Oh God, did I just click on that? No, I didn't. Well, I suppose we have to go back to the D's a minute. Duke Nukem Forever, of course, is very much the end of Duke Nukem.
Yeah, well, we say that.
Forever.
Because we got that new movie coming out eventually, maybe.
With John Cena.
With John Cena!
That's sure to make it good, yeah.
I hope John Cena walked away.
He'll do it. And
He's still going to fucking Bumblebee spin-off for Transformers. There's no way he's walking away from Duke Nukem.
Oh my God. Wait, so they're finally giving Bumblebee... They're finally going to give Bumblebee a voice.
Yeah, and they're like, we can't afford Mark Wahlberg anymore, so let's get John Cena in.
I hope it just comes in and goes, Bumblebee! Da, 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 da.
That's all we need.
Different colour paint job every other week. Yeah, sorry, there's a wrestling nod. Oh, yeah, dear. Actually, you know, when I was looking at this about like video game sequels, the worst sequels, Tootin' you can just disappear on the front page of nearly all of them. So, could we say Mass Effect Andromeda is going to kill Mass Effect?
Literally killed it.
Yeah, it could well, to the point where it could have, as we said a few episodes back, it could have an impact that kills everything about it.
It could kill Dragon Age, it could kill Anthem, it could kill BioWare.
Yeah. Look at you being all dramatic.
It could. But to be fair though, BioWare's been dead a long time in my opinion.
Well, no, not that long. It's
A lot of BioWare games have been exactly this. I know this sounds stupid, but I always call them the BioWare story.
The BioWare story.
Because nearly every story, I know RPGs always have the kind of same plot-ish.
Oh, right.
Plots you have, but BioWare always seems to have almost the exact same plot down to the T.
Down right to the T. Oh, I just thought of one.
You find the big baddie. You realise you can't beat it on your own because A, it's a big bad evil mystic baddie, or B, it's an army. So you go around visiting towns and then you find people to join your big bad team and then you defeat the big baddie. I know that's the story for most parts, but it's just that BioWare follows it to the exact plot by plot point. Rather than throwing in any sort of twist, it's always like... Even when they made a Sonic game, they still did the same plot.
Which is, to be fair, the plot of every Sonic game that has a plot.
Yeah, Sonic doesn't make an army normally. This is Sonic Forces.
Yeah, Sonic Forces.
Well, was that game awful?
What, Sonic Forces?
Yeah.
No, it's fun trash, in the sense of it's not great, but it's good fun.
Do you want a game with an amazing soundtrack?
Oh yeah, it has a wonderful soundtrack.
I have a game with a wonderful soundtrack, and I can enjoy playing that one.
What?
Nier.
All right, it's not
but
that.
That's not Sonic.
Right, Nier's soundtrack is wonderful in how it complements the game. The Sonic Forces soundtrack is great because it's absolutely shit, but cheesy good. It's everything. It is a day-old hamburger of a game. It's like if you're hungry enough for it, you'll eat it, and you'll be fairly satisfied by it.
Oh man, I've worked in enough
custom characters.
No, I'm not touching that hamburger.
Does Nier have custom characters? I bet it doesn't.
You can put a bow on it.
Yeah, you can put a fist weapon in one hand and a pole arm in the other.
Yeah, but can you make it like a small person with a Sonic t-shirt? No, you can't. Sonic Forces wins when that comes out.
Can you make a furry version of the protagonist from Persona 5?
Point. Every other game of the year I've ever had is pales in comparison to Sonic Forces. Because of the big head and Sonic t-shirt.
I kind of want to... I wish I could quote that. Imagine out of the box every game.
That would be the best. I just drooled.
It's just like my amazing box quote for Past Cure. It's pretty decent. It's pretty average.
Yeah, it is like, if you get it cheap enough, it's good for it. It's the best of that kind of Sonic game. That's what I'd say. Which isn't saying much, I know.
It's not bad, I guess.
Yeah. Next week, hear me apologise for Metal Gear Survive.
I'm going to take a stance here on that game. I really feel bad for it. I really do. Even if it was the shittest game possible, and as soon as you load it up, it just steals your credit card details.
Which it doesn't, just to state.
It doesn't do that, mate. I'm just saying, even if it did something like that, it's one of those games where nobody that's a fan of the Metal Gear franchise is even going to give it a small chance.
Well, you say that. I've given it a chance.
Yeah, but you got a review copy.
Yeah, I was the only one that would request it.
Yeah, see?
But yeah, just as an aside from that, it's a spin-off, and that needs to be sort of thought of when conversations around that. It's not like they're saying this is Metal Gear 6. No. They've been very, very open from the beginning. This isn't a Metal Gear game. This is basically, we're using this, and this, and it's going to have this and this. And you know what? Anyone who is a big personality is lagging off that might actually play it beyond the first 20, 30 minutes might see a bit more than what they just wanted to see. It has stuff that's good. It has to be said.
What's that amazing phrase? No one expects the Jimquisition? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's it.
But you know, no matter as much as I love Kojima, he isn't the only one who made Metal Gear. It was a whole team that made Metal Gear.
That was something I did take issue with that as well, because I saw Mr. Sterling himself say that they didn't even try to make it like Metal Gear. It was like, well, one, it's a spin-off. That isn't really the main thing. But two, they did. There's bits in there that are very Metal Gear, like blatantly very Metal Gear. Yeah, it's odd to say that when 90% of the game is using Metal Gear Solid 5, so as a basis.
And the team that made it worked on Metal Gear Solid beforehand. Yeah. It's like, it's not like it's a new concept to them. They know what they're doing, ish.
That's it. And remember, not Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear.
Yeah, it's Metal Gear. Yeah. And it's like Metal Gear 6, it's like Metal Gear Survive.
Well,
it's exactly like that.
I was just going to say, I remember the same whole thing with Revengeance when it came out, and it existed for years where everyone's like, oh shit, it's rubbish, fucking terrible. It's not
pretty crap because there's riding in it.
Oh my god.
We're going to deviate from the normal subject here. Metal Gear Revengeance is a brilliant game, in short, to be honest. It's just amazing, and Raiden is great in it, to be honest. It plays up to everything that was fun with that character, and just...
The only thing I didn't like about it was all the times he would go through some weird stuff and somehow I know that sounds stupid, but some of the stuff just seemed a bit too much. Yeah,
I don't understand how you say that as someone who watches Dragon Ball week in, week out. It is pretty much like an episode. It's like one long anime series.
Yeah, but it's like the time. Didn't he stop a boat? Or am I just imagining it?
Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were talking about Revengeance. I mean, that's...
That was in 4, wasn't it, that?
Yeah, that was in 4.
Yeah.
I think your biases around, Ben.
What?
I think you're throwing your biases around.
I just don't like Raiden, so...
Raiden's in all my favourite Metal Gears, apart from 3. Oh, he's in 3, so yeah.
He's in 3, remember?
Yeah, he's in...
No.
Technically.
No.
And actually...
It's a parody character mimicking him.
Yeah, but still, it's in memory of... The memory of Raiden, it's him.
Tim, I counter you with he's in Subsistence, so... In certain parts.
Oh my god.
In the best bit.
I hate it so much.
Time paradox.
No.
That thing is brilliant.
I love triggering those way back in the day. And then when I platinumed it. And then when I platinumed it again.
So this has been the Metal Gear Hour. Yes. My next suggestion, anyway, on franchise killers, definitely is a franchise killer because.
Wait, didn't you just have one?
No, because 5 isn't a killer.
I thought you did Mass Effect.
No, 5 was the killer.
I suggested Andromeda. Yeah, if you've got one, Ben.
No, I don't have one off the top of my head now.
No. Did you have one to mind? That isn't Metal Gear Solid 5.
Me.
Actually, I'll think about it. Tim.
No, the other Tim.
The other Tim. Hey, Tim. Yeah. Anything? I'm not saying that one. Oh, Castlevania 2.
Oh Lord, the Konami late latter day one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Console one.
So, yeah, that more so than Metal Gear, definitely is a dead franchise.
Well, it's kind of funny. Like I'm sure you've seen the interviews with the development team after the fact. Like, that came out in the last couple of years. I can't remember when it was. But with the way that they talked about the first game, it seemed like that first game was going down the same road that the second one went. So I'm thinking without the outside help that they had, the first one might have been just a killed reboot, just a bad one.
Yeah. And it's like, you hear a lot of this talk where people say that creators, people very creative types don't really have as much influence as you think. And it's like, but I think there in that case, very much so that having the likes of Kojima sort of step in and go, oh, yeah, you could do this, you could do that. He probably did change course for that game. Reading that thing on Uncharted 4 about how the state it was in before Drelian Struckman came in to deal with it. It was just like they literally had to tear down a lot of it because it was just so incoherent as a game. And it's like, and they ended up obviously finishing that game and came out, got great reviews, etc., etc. So it's like, I think, it's proof that sometimes you need that guiding hand on a franchise, even if they aren't, as involved as everyone else.
I've got one now.
Oh, go on.
Well, technically, I guess it's not a franchise really yet, but they killed it before it could become a proper franchise.
Went back in time and killed its own franchise.
Destiny 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you get 2 games in, you are a franchise. It should, but again, this comes back into the category of we have more money than sense, so we'll probably make another one.
They probably will, but I'm just saying that they screwed up Destiny 1 and they finally fixed it a few months, a year later. And then they announced Destiny 2 and everyone's hyped because Destiny 1 had a solid foundation because of what they'd done with it. And then they decided just to screw all that up and just make it microtransactions and grindier and less endgame.
My favourite thing was that, just the fact that everyone got all in on this hype on it when it came out.
Yeah.
And I just knew what would happen because it was the exact same as the first game. Everyone gets hyped about it for a week and then it's like, nothing to do. It's like...
It's even worse than the first game for that now.
Yeah, because Activision didn't learn the lessons. They didn't say, hey, come on, let's make this a fleshed out game proper. Like, no, we'll cut it in different ways this time.
Yeah, the first game you actually could get endgame armor only from raids, so you were forced to try and do raids. Now you could just get it from drops. That's kind of puts it less in. Now you've actually got raid specific armor, but it's taken quite a long time to do that.
Yeah. I had another game in mind straight away after this one. If anyone didn't want to say anything more about Destiny 2, sorry.
It has promised, but became shite.
It had promised twice and became shite. Yeah. And I did think, and given the company in question publishing it, I did not think that they would learn the lesson. Because Call of Duty...
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times, I'll just buy anyway, still probably.
Every franchise that tanks under Activision, you can see why. It's because they make the mistake, don't learn. Make the mistake, don't learn. And of course, eventually, people get bored of most of them. Just not all of them.
Rock Band.
Which was ended on such a high note as well, which is annoying. Just like... But then that wasn't them. That was just harmonics at that point. So, no, Rock Band was harmonics. Yeah, you're thinking of Guitar Hero.
Oh, I think Guitar Hero.
Yeah, they shunted that one. Oh dear. But yeah, next one I was thinking was a definite dead dodo, which is a Medal of Honor Warfighter. Which
oh god, I remember that.
Stone fucking cold dead. The franchise. To the point where it was, I forgot that there was a game 2 years before that was just, the reboot Medal of Honor, modern day.
I didn't even remember it was only that short of distance between the two. I thought it was like years. Like 5-6 years between the two. Not
The last traditional Medal of Honor game was now 11 years ago, which was Airborne.
Holy shit.
And then the other two came out since that were the Call of Duty wannabes. Medal of Honor, which was 8 years ago.
I hate to say it, but this is probably the best time for Medal of Honor to be released.
Yeah, but EA won't, because now Battlefield has taken its place. That was at the time of Medal of Honor reboot coming out and trying to do the COD thing. They let Battlefield do its own thing, and that started getting popular. And yeah, so that's where the power shifted, and they were like, we aren't going to bother. They were obviously making Warfighter and found out that was shite, and dead. Gone. Yes, indeed. Very much a motivation that one. So yeah, good old Medal of Honor, which is a shame because it was a very good franchise for a little bit and never got to make it because everyone just like everything ended up getting canned because of what it was in terms of genre and World War II game. One day. Anything else on these guys?
Think of any other ones offhand.
But there are a few that should have. I mean, as you said, but money or ignorance has just meant that they carry on. I mean, Sonic should be dead about 20 times over, to be fair.
But what about Quake?
Nah. I mean, yeah, in terms of the single-player Quake, but single-player Quake was wank anyway.
But they killed Quake with Quake Championships anyway, because it's not even doing that well.
Yeah, because it's on PC only.
It's doing worse than Lawbreakers.
I think Quake Live is doing better than Quake Champions, which is as well. But then it is a free version of Quake 3, effectively. So, yeah, I'd say it won't kill it, but if Doom can come back, that can come back.
Also, didn't they kill off Dead or Alive as well, or did I just imagine that?
Nah, that'll live forever because video game boobs. That's it.
I thought I remember something about the last. Yeah, the last one was cancelled.
They did like a weird free-to-play version, didn't they, of Dead or Alive 5? If that was cancelled, I understand it, but I think there's going to be another one. Yeah, they ended support for Dead or Alive 5 like at the end of last year, I think, and so they're moving. But that is like 5 years after Dead or Alive 5 came out, so fair as it goes.
I must have read it wrong then. So I remember something about someone, being dropped.
That's it. Dear. I would probably argue another one. Again, didn't technically kill its franchise, but to me it did. It was Jack 2. It just went a whole direction that wasn't the original game. It never felt as good for me as a franchise after that. It's kind of like it was like the opposite of the Uncharted games, really, where that started with a bad game and just went better. But yeah, it was. I have a soft spot for the first Jack game, but the rest are just a shrug of the shoulders.
What about then?
Oh, sorry. Everyone talking at once.
Sorry.
Go on, Tim.
What about like Resistance 2?
Yeah, because I really like the first one, especially because of the setting. And then they just went and did again. It's that thing of going for an American audience for the second game because everything was very UK based in the first game.
It was literally based in the UK.
Yeah, and it just felt like another game. It didn't feel special.
I wish Resistance 2 was just set in Russia.
Yeah, I mean, there was just levels in it at that year, I think, that came out that were very reminiscent of the ones that came out in Modern Warfare 2. And it was like, to the point it was creepy. They were very similar. But yeah, it wasn't as fun.
I will always keep my save file for the beta. The closed beta for Resistance 2 on my PS3 just because of the name of the save file.
Yeah.
It used to be called Girl with a Stick. That was what the game was called.
It's amazing.
I mean, Resistance 3 obviously came out, but no one cared. So, yeah, it just happened.
The original beta used to have a trophy where you would get it if you killed someone that was teabagging someone on your team.
Oh yeah, good trophy.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get that trophy back in the day too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because you know.
You know, you do know. Oh, just trying to think of these ones. There's so many bad ones, but as I said, not many of them kill them off.
No Man's Sky killed itself.
It's not a sequel. Oh, no.
I mean, the first game was terrible anyway, but Star Wars Force Unleashed 2.
No, I hate you.
Oh yeah.
Force Unleashed 1 was one of my favourite Star Wars games.
It's such a cash-in. It was just a terrible, terrible, lazy cash-in.
I don't care. I could smack things into walls.
And the second game, I bought that, right? And I think I completed it in an afternoon.
It took about 2 hours.
And nothing really happened in it. I was just like, what the fuck is this? It's just like...
But Force Unleashed 1, that was one of the best Star Wars games ever made. Sending hate mail to Ben.Shillabeer-Hall.
It's fine. He deserves it.
I will respond to all the hate mail saying GTA sucks.
I was just thinking. Obviously, the franchise is pretty much dead, but it's Konami again. It's Silent Hill, but you couldn't really say PT was the franchise killer.
No,
because it didn't get to be a full game, and Downpour was the last one before that, but it was actually an all right one. Again, the problem with those games were they were made by an American team when they had traditionally been Japanese, and it just felt very much like an American horror than the Japanese horror that had been.
You know what? Let's just call Konami the franchise killer because we also have Mega Man.
That's Capcom.
Oh, Capcom.
Mega Man's back this year, so
At last.
Mega Man 11's out this year, so.
We'll find Bomberman.
Bomberman.
Bomberman came out with Switch.
Yeah. They had a game last year, so they get a count. And it wasn't bad. So.
I mean,
fine then, Bubble.
I suppose Prince of Persia. That's died.
Oh yeah.
It's like
That just became
what a
Assassin's
day,
Creed,
because
hasn't it?
that
Really?
game was great.
yeah. I mean, when it rebooted, that was a good game. I like that. But it still had 2 games after that, one of which was based on the god awful movie, and that was the last one.
The one where you couldn't die.
No, that was 2008 one, which was good. Which is stupid. That was a complaint, considering everything games have become now. It's like it was just ahead of its time. It's like
I
there's
thought
so
that
many
was
games.
the movie one.
No, that was like 2008. The movie was like 4 or 5 years later. It's like.
I remember not being able to die in the movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. It's like I've seen this before. It's like having Elika save you in Prince of Persia 2008 is no different from any other game where you die and respawn. It's just the same. It's just a different way of presenting that system. And it's like it's annoying that I really like that game. And it annoyed the hell out of me that was the complaint, and that was in every review.
Thank you. That game was special.
Little Big Planet 3.
Well, no, because I don't know. It seemed like a mandated sequel, and it did all right.
Yeah, but
it did it.
I remember Little Big Planet Hub because I had that beta, and that was fun.
I don't think there's been a bad game in that series. It's just never been a game that's really exploded for them. Yeah, I think that's been the main problem.
But you know what does look good though? Dreams, and everyone should buy Dreams.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's what I mean. That Little Big Planet now just feels like the prototype for what they were trying to do, and that's great. It's like yeah. If that was what it took, then great. God, Little Big Planet's only 10 years old this year. We consider it dead. Oh, now I remember. Crisis 3.
Oh yeah.
Like
Crisis 3 killed the franchise, while Crisis 1 still kills your PC.
Yeah.
So even Crisis 2, I liked bits of it quite a lot. It's like, and the soundtrack was really good. But yeah, Crisis 3 just, it was joyless. And it was definitely part of this whole Crytek suddenly realizing they couldn't spend all the money in the world that they didn't have and killing off various little sub-devs they had. Plus, they wasted the people who made Time Splitters on a really shit multiplayer mode for Crisis 3. Again, just what? That's EA levels of wasting a company. I'm trying to think what else there is. There's so many, so many. As we said, not all of them killed them. No. I mean, you could argue Ratchet and Clank was killed by All for One because it was the last proper one, I think.
I think that was just the company itself more than anything.
But yeah,
well, All for One wasn't the last one.
Oh, it was Nexus, wasn't it? Into the Nexus?
Into the Nexus, and that game was pretty good.
Yeah, that wasn't bad, actually. So yeah, scrap that. It was fine.
Yeah, I think they were just done.
Which is
a decent. Yeah, I wouldn't put that as a killer.
Okay, we know Call of Duty isn't dead, but which one should have killed that franchise?
Advanced Warfare.
Yep. Second.
Black Ops 2. I think that was it. That was the point. I was like, you know what? This is not changing. This is the same shit.
Yeah, but it still wasn't awful.
Then again, I played, of course, last year I played World War II, and that's fucking abysmal on so many levels. Oh, yeah, throwing in that, now I remember that, Need for Speed, last year's one. Payback, that's fucking terrible. That deserves to kill that franchise for good. Bring Burnout back. Oh, they did. That's it.
It's okay, I'll be back next year. When the new Fast and Furious game comes out. Movie, I mean.
I could go on. I could go on. Dear. Far Cry 2 probably should have killed that franchise because it was.
I know a game that kind of killed the franchise for a long time. Tomb Raider: Angel of Darkness.
Yeah, it certainly killed that iteration of it, and it took a reboot, not a reboot, a remake.
Yeah, remaking reboot.
This is why, it's why Burnout's coming back, because it will take a remake to make car games by EA good again. So yeah, I agree. That Angel of Darkness was fucking awful, but then Underworld was pretty rubbish. And then they
Anniversary was okay.
Anniversary and Legend.
Oh man, if only they could screw up a remake of their first game.
Jokingly, I say this, but it is kind of true. Last Guardian killed that franchise of free games because that team don't exist anymore. So yeah.
Don't say that. Hurts my heart.
It hurts my heart, but it's a nice way to go out,
dude. That's the game. That's my game of this generation. Don't call that a franchise killer.
I got scared by the VR.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I think we've got a good bunch there, to say the least. There are some you could say controversially, like Street Fighter 5 killing Street Fighter, or Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite killing that, but nah, there's always a chance to bring those ones back. So yeah. Right. So thus ends this week's subject. I suppose we'll get a predictions league, which of course Metal Gear Survive was the subject of that last week on our little all-star show of shows. The end score, the score as of this moment is 62 for Metal Gear Survive, which, considering Kingdom Come Deliverance is higher, just makes me laugh very, very loudly because it's a far better game than that. Oh dear. So no one got it right, and no one was even in the right 10 point scores. So Gary was closest with a score of 70. Ben, you were unfortunately 20 points out.
You're telling me it wasn't the 90s? Curses.
You said 82. But, it wasn't that. So yes, Gary wins that point, which puts me regrettably bottom of the predictions league this season, which as reigning champion is despicable. So Gary, Alfonso, and Tim all have 2 points, but Alfonso is not here anymore. I could always take his points, I suppose.
Yes, points cannot be taken. They can only be.
They can be stolen. That's the way we work.
The police are, you heard that? The police are here. I heard about us stealing our points.
Ben still leads.
Yes.
Going into March, Ben leads. Can you believe it? What a turnaround. I think, were you bottom last season? I can't remember.
I was for most of it.
For most of it, and then it changed, didn't it?
Because Mike wasn't on.
Mike was. And Alfonso is going to be bottom, I suppose, this year if he's not on all the time. So. Dear. Dear. Right, so let's find this week's game. There's a few. There's a game called Shiny coming out. Would you believe?
Oh, a shiny.
A Shiny. Let's pick Moss, the PlayStation VR compatible game, because it looks nice. Will it be any good? That's the question. That is the question. Ben,
85.
85. You're confident.
I'm very confident because this game's had a lot of hype.
So Ben says 85. I will say 82. Tim?
80.
80. There we go. All keeping it close for Moss. We will see next week what happens. It'd be nice to have a good game, I think.
I just can't wait for that Rick and Morty VR game. Get riggedy wrecked, son!
It's like
Somebody who hasn't seen Rick and Morty, that means nothing to me. I'm speechless.
So this week there's no Hideo or no Hideo or Hideo, and there's no meta quote because we have return of it's season 2 of Chille's Clueless Wrestling Predictions.
Way.
And of course, Ben did lose last season, but only just. He did very well. Got 75 points for the entire season, which is very respectable.
Yeah. Oh, there's a list of people. Okay.
Yes, it's a list of people. you see the list of people I have put up already for this one, I assume.
I just see it now.
Oh, good. And yeah, Tim, you can chime in on this one by all means as well. The rules are as follows for this.
There are none.
There are none. Yeah, that's literally it.
The rule is Ben makes up bullshit.
Yeah, Ben knows nothing about wrestling. Almost nothing.
Bullshit.
And he tries to predict who will win each of the matches of each pay-per-view, which frankly this year is a lot less pay-per-views. It's a lot easier to remember when they're on. And of course I know stuff about wrestling, and I'm supposedly the expert in this situation. So we go for a whole year of pay-per-views until we get to next year's Royal Rumble, and which serves as the finale. Should be WrestleMania really, but just we started it at a weird time. Yeah, and then we just see who wins overall. Ben says, he's just playing to get as many points as possible, but he did very well last year, despite not knowing anything. It proves that knowing things doesn't always mean you do well, and there were times that was definitely the case.
Yeah.
So, it's a Raw pay-per-view, means nothing to you, I know, but...
Let me guess. They will not have headgear and they will punch with bare hands.
No, let's see.
They'll wield stakes.
Elimination. It's the Elimination Chamber. Anyway, this month, and that means that the two main events of this are the Elimination Chamber match, which basically is a big cage, right? I'll tell you this much. Two men or women start.
So there's
in the
no
middle.
fire pit.
No, listen. Right, two men or women start the match, and there are 4 pods that the other 4 combatants are placed in, and they are unlocked every few minutes at random. So someone enters a match, and then the next one, and then the next one. So tactically, being the last person in, you could be very fresh, and everyone else could be out. And basically, it's till the last man is standing. So once you're pinned, submitted, you're out of the match, and it carries on until, like I said, last one. The only minor difference this year is the men's elimination chamber has 7 people instead of 6, so 3 people start in the ring to begin with. But, again, you don't care.
When you say pod, I just think of those Saiyan pods from Dragon Ball.
Sure, if it helps. Just like me with the Dragon Ball podcast last week. I'll think of wrestling, you think of Dragon Ball.
Okay.
So, on the kickoff show, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus the Miztourage. Ben, what say you?
Well, as always, Carl Anderson is going to use his powers of the Matrix to win.
The powers of the Matrix to win. Okay, that's fair.
Carl is going to send them to the gallows.
Tim, what do you think?
I've been reading a lot of Les Mis recently, and particularly are talking about slang. And I bring that up because a lot of that pertains to people who are often down on their luck, or often in the ghetto, or not in the ghetto, in the gallows, left in the gallows, and that's one of the things he talks about. So, but one of the endearing things that he talks about is that like the gallows are like, what does he call it? I think he calls it hell. But I think Luke Gallows is going to have hell to pay, and he's going to beat up on the Mr. Raj and Mr. Anderson.
Mr.
Anderson is working with the gallows.
Yeah, it's Anderson and Gallows. But yeah, that's cool.
Oh yes, excuse me.
That's fine. I will also go with the Gallows and Anderson.
Can I go with my other joke though? Just talking around as we're all going for the same people.
It's entirely the point of this.
Okay, if it would have been the other people, I would have gone with Captain Scarlet and the Mr. Ages.
Oh God.
Take a shower. I feel dirty.
I do. Dirty than usual.
Scarlet and the Mr.
Right, up next on the main show, I'm guessing the Raw Tag Team Championship between the champions of the Bar and Titus Worldwide. Tim, who do you think is winning this match of things you wouldn't be sure what they are? You would in fact think they were probably companies.
They do sound like companies, actually. The Bar just sounds like a very posh like pub scene. And Titus Worldwide...
I just want to say...
What?
Titus Andronicus walked into a bar, was misled by a lot of people around him, and lost. So the Bar win.
That is a one hell of a prediction.
I don't even know what you said, so...
I would go with the Bar as well, but I would just say it kind of sounds like it's an epic story of like a small bar being bulldozed by a mega corporation.
Well, I'm going to go with Titus Worldwide.
Titus Worldwide. I mean, if you'd seen Titus O'Neill's pecs, you would probably say Titus is the correct wording. So, yeah.
He will use his powers of the World Wide Web and kill everyone.
And his dominatrix abilities with his Titus.
He's going to have the opponent wanting him to step on them.
Up next is... they didn't put the right word here. It's Woken Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt. Ben.
Wait, was he asleep before?
No, he's woken. It's Yeah, you kind of have to watch it to get it. But
I'm going to go with Awoken Matt Hardy, because if he had won matches before while he was asleep, now that he is awake, he will have a slightly more advantage. It works.
fair enough. I will say Bray Wyatt wins this one. Tim?
I think betting against Neil on this one is Bray, so I'm going to go Bray Wyatt.
Oh, dear. Right, next up is Asuka against Nia Jax. Tim?
Did you ask her what she thought of Nia Jax? Me neither, but I think Nia Jax is still going to win.
You think Nia Jax is winning? Okay, that's cool. We get it. I was so groaning so hard. I was like, did he actually say who he thinks is going to win? I'm saying Asuka. What about you, Ben?
Guys, it's finally that crossover we've been all waiting for. Tekken versus Mortal Kombat.
No, that's Nina, not Nia.
I thought, no, it's
Oh,
Asuka.
you're Jax, right? Sorry, yeah.
Asuka,
So
isn't that from Tekken? I thought that was one of.
Are you thinking of Akuma?
No, I was thinking of Jin's mother.
I don't remember.
I think
Not
Jin's
my
mother.
fault.
Anyway, and then Jax, is of course Jax.
So yeah, that's all lovely and endearing, but who's actually going to win?
Well, Jax is cyborg arm, so.
Yeah. Okay. It's like season 2 of any popular show. We're recycling the jokes. Right. Ronda Rousey signing her Raw contract. It's not a match, but
Is it like a legal thing for them to have sex?
Well, Ronda Rousey was a UFC fighter, and she is now going to be a wrestler. So.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. She's even got Rowdy Roddy Piper style clothing that was blessed by Roddy Piper's family, which is quite nice.
That's cool. I don't know who those are, but that sounds cool.
Basically, Ronda Rousey is a very tough woman.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we'll move on. I don't know why I put it in there, but I suppose you could predict who will interrupt her contract signing. There you go.
Steve.
You can make. This is for fun. This isn't for points. This is just like.
Kanye?
Say that again.
Kanye.
Kanye.
Now, you were signing a contract, but Beyonce's signing a bigger contract down the street.
It's like, I'm going to WrestleMania.
Oh no, I know.
What?
Donald Trump is going to make his comeback in wrestling.
Oh my god.
He won't show his face in public.
That's why he's going to wrestling. He's going to wear a mask.
He barely do anything in Florida.
Himself because he's such an idiot.
You can't sell a Stone Cold Stunner. That we know. That we do know.
He'll just dress up as an orange, and then everyone will know he is anyway.
Anyway, moving on. Women's Championship. And no, I won't be predicting who comes out for Ronda Rousey signing because
I'm going to guess you're going to go with Alexa Bliss.
No,
she's shocked.
Oh, what for this? Yeah, I will go for that because it seems like that's the way it's going. That she'll face Asuka at WrestleMania. So I would imagine. So yeah, that's my pick.
I remember something from season 1. That is when Alexa Bliss is on the list. Pick that because that is what Neil will pick.
Yeah. She is the Kristen Bell of WWE, which means she's wonderful. And tiny. I think that was the other thing I was going to say. Yes, wonderful and tiny. Ben, what about you?
I'm going to go with Mickey James.
Because?
Because it sounds like a bloke.
Oh my word. Fun fact: she started out as Trish Stratus's stalker back in the day.
Not the stalker for her. Who's that?
Yes. Oh, dear. Anyway,
Mickey James.
What about you, Tim?
I don't
After
think
looking
that's one of the characters
that I wasn't going to pick, I couldn't think of a really funny sentence to put them all into. So I'm just going to go with my historical choice with Alexa Bliss, because ignorance.
Wait, there's an easy one. Sonia's gonna put a rose in some Baileys as Sasha Spanks is in bliss because of Mickey James.
It's an effort, I'll say that. All right. Anyway, moving on to the final match of the night, well, depending on where they put it in the card. The men's elimination chamber, which is John Cena versus Braun Strowman versus Elias versus Roman Reigns versus The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Ben.
I'm gonna go with Elias because it's almost like that one spy TV show that used to exist.
That's Alias.
He believes in Elias.
There you go. That's why I'm going to go for Elias.
What about you, Tim?
I have some bias in this one.
Is it because it's John Cena?
John Cena!
But then he is deciding to go do that really awful movie, so I really am losing a lot of cred. So the Roman Empire fell. Finn is a really cool character in Adventure Time. Seth Rollins is too close to Seth Rogen to be a fighter.
He's probably as hairy, but he's definitely in better shape.
That sounds like a mistake.
I don't know, Braun, just in the word, sounds like he'd be formidable, but I also feel like so I'm gonna pick the TV show like Ben did and go Alias.
You're gonna walk with Elias. Okay.
Alias.
It's Roman Reigns for me. I think he's the one. It just seems to be heading that way. As much as I'd like Braun Strowman to, and you're right, Braun Strowman is very formidable. He is a very large man.
All I can think is of like a Gillette advert. Because Braun is a type of shaver.
Yes, it is.
It's like responding to that hurt your heart.
It did.
And I'm just
really want to set the meeting where Ben meets Braun Strowman, all near 7 foot of him, and muscles for days, and says to him, "Your name sounds like you're a sandwich toaster or something."
Oh god!
I'll be like, have you ever thought of advertising these?
I giggle fit. I'm sorry. I'm done. I was gonna giggle fit. I'm over now.
It's fine. Oh my word!
Okay.
It's okay. You all right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, in general, maybe not, but right now I think I'm okay.
Yeah, that's all we need. Oh dear. Sorry, I was trying to find a picture of Braun Strowman. Why did you think he was a toaster? Dear.
Not a toaster, a shaver.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Deville Breville.
Isn't that a water filter?
Yeah, and they make toasters. I don't fucking know.
Say a shaver.
Shaver, sorry, yeah.
He needs a Braun. Can't even see his neck. He has a neck for a beard. A beard for a neck.
Anyway, that concludes.
I wouldn't call him a neck beard because he'd have to have a neck in the first place.
Hashtag.
He looks cool though.
He just destroys things on a weekly basis. That's his job. He once shoved a man much smaller than him into a large bin.
Okay, thank God, because I was going to someone completely else.
He tipped over a lorry and he tipped over an ambulance.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that I said you talked about when I said about ambulance ring fighting.
Yeah.
They wield ambulances and fight in a ring.
He also got Roman Reigns also crashed an ambulance into him. Oh no, he was in the back of the ambulance and he crashed the ambulance into a lorry and he didn't die. So
Oh well.
So yeah, he's big and tough and he throws people around for fun. And, he's grand. Right. Yes, that's the end of that. What is that?
I always enjoy those. I don't know who that is.
That's great.
Is that what the Miz looks like?
No. Anyway.
He failed in his new movie.
So, as much as this was a PlayStation podcast and we spent most of it talking about anything but, it definitely fits the Unchained name. That much is true. We'll, of course, be back next week with more PlayStation stuff and other stuff too. But in the meantime, Ben, where can people find you?
You can find me at Chille UK on Twitter, ben.shillabeer@psu.com. Email address, the Twitter is CHILLEUK. I'd like to shout out to Klaus Knight, Bring It, Phoenix Down Radio. Shout out to She Heals I Take, Avi and Pete. A shout out to Paul at Mooga Go Around Radio. A shout out to Evolved Mail, aka Girlfriend's Favourite Streamer at twitch.tv/Evolved Mail. And a shout out to Alfonso, because we miss you already.
We can't wait to catch up.
Yeah, I can't wait to catch up. Yeah, I get it.
Good. Hey, I'm a dad, qualified, allowed to. It's in my remit. I can make terrible jokes all the time.
It's my excuse.
you're just I don't know.
Classical conditioning.
Just don't squeeze it too much.
Don't squeeze it too much. Right, Tim, where are you at in the
I am generally everywhere as Timberelli. TIMBERELLI, and that is my cat who won't stop meowing. And PlaySN, you can find me at Boss Snake. One word, 3 S's, no cap.
And you can find me at the Twitters at Nesco. Big name is Nesco be damned. And email is neil.bolt@psu.com, should you wish to do that. Happens sometimes. We'll see you next week for more Unchained. Probably talk about PlayStation.
Maybe.
Great. Yeah. We'll
Maybe.
See.
Definitely maybe.
See you all next week.
Until then, taddy bye.
Teddy bye.